Hello and welcome, I'm Olis Gerjuk and you're watching Head to Head on UATV. This year, Ukraine is to participate for the first time in PISA, which is the program for international student assessment. According to it, pupils are being examined for a survey worldwide every 3 years. To discuss Ukraine's debut in the program, we are joined in the studio by Tetiana Vakulenko, National Coordinator for PISA in Ukraine. Hello and thank you for joining us.
Good day, I'm glad to see you.
So, what is PISA and the purpose of it?
Well, PISA is an international survey. 81 countries participate in it.
Ukraine is the 81st.
Well, basically so, yes. And this is a survey which aims to understand how people are doing worldwide, how students are doing worldwide in reading, mathematics and science. 15 years old, students who are 15 years old participate in the survey all over the world.
Which is the grade in Ukraine?
In Ukraine we have several grades. We will test 8th, 9th, 10th, some 11th graders, and also some students of vocational schools, and that's the first and their second year of education.
Oh, will these students be examined all over Ukraine?
Yes, we have a huge variety of regions represented. 273 schools will participate this year.
But is this mandatory? Is this initiative mandatory for the schools?
No. According to our legislations, schools can choose either to participate or not, but we highly require them to do so because we would like to see the variety of schools represented.
Mm-hmm. So is this PISA program is only about the examination of knowledge, or is there some broader issue about it?
It is much broader. In fact, we are examining not the knowledge, but the competencies. So we examine how students can use their knowledge in real-life situations. Yes, and also we do have questionnaires. So we will discuss not only how well they understand the usage of knowledge in real-life problems, but also the factors that influence their performance.
Mm-hmm. Why would you need that information?
Well, because if we want to improve education, we would want to know what influences the level of education.
Well, that is logical. And what about competences? How would you measure them and compare with the different countries by some?
Yes, we have reading literacy, mathematical literacy, and science literacy. And actually, test items are the same all over the world. So we'll be able to examine how well our students, how well they perform in science literacy, in science, math, and reading.
So how different are the tasks comparing to the usual exams?
For Ukraine, very different. In other countries, this competent approach to education is used for many, many years.
It's usual, basically.
Yes, it's usual. It's a day-to-day practice. But for Ukraine, it's not, because we have this post-Soviet Union system of education so far. And it is very different from what is a system of education all over the world.
And for instance?
Well, for example, we would teach students to use some mathematical formulas. They learn formulas. They need to know formulas. In PISA, we don't require them just to use the formulas or just to write down the formula, but we require them to use it in a real-life situation. For example, when you need to calculate the arc, if you have a car which needs to pass through the arc. So you have certain dimensions of the car, and you need to know how high it should be your arc.
Well,
and stuff like that.
This sounds more exciting than just the usual exam.
It is very exciting, I guess.
Well, let's hope that pupils are going to like it. And the international context of PISA, is it important for the country to be on the list?
Oh, sure. Well, it is important because PISA results are taken as a reference by many financial institutions all over the world.
Oh, really?
So, yes, because it's actually the capacity of the labor force to be successful on the labor force market.
So is there any certificate issued after PISA exams?
No, but the results are published and the whole world basically knows the PISA ranks. And students all over the world are ranked according to the general score, which means like the sum of 3 scores, and also according to reading, math, and science results. And we have ranks published every 3 years.
But then if students are being examined every 3 years, it means that some of them tend to skip the examination after they're not 15 anymore.
No, every 3 years we have 15-year-old. No other students are accepted. So in Ukraine we'll have only the students who were born in 2002. And some students, of course, they do not participate. But
so they just cannot participate,
They just
right?
cannot participate, yes. We have only one age group that participates this year. That's
so
these students.
Anyone who would skip 15 years old in the next sessions of this examinations in 3 years, in 2021 or 2024, everyone who is not 15 and he is not in this, he is just in the gap, so
he will not participate.
That person is missing. Well, that is sad. But who initiated this PISA participation of Ukraine?
The Ministry of Science and Education of Ukraine initiated this survey in Ukraine.
Well, and how did the schools react?
Well, so far we have a very positive reaction from the educational system and overall, and also from the schools, of course. Everyone wants to know what they really know and how they compare it to the world.
Is it being done because of the ongoing educational reform of Ukraine?
It's one of the main purposes is actually to see if the education reform works in several years. So now we have a baseline study, basically. So that has been the old school. And students who are now 15, they have been studying using the previous programs, right? So in 3 and 6 and so on years, we'll see how the new school works.
And how would you use and analyze these results of this survey?
There are several ways to do that. Firstly is to see the trends. So the performance of Ukraine, will it change within the years? That's the main question that we're asking. If it will change, if it changes, and if it changes in a positive way, then we see that the reforms work. If at some point it changes in a negative way or stays the same, something should be done to the system and overall. So maybe the curricula should be changed, or the approaches to teaching, or whatever. So the Ministry of Education will have information that's valuable for understanding.
Well, that's important. And when this assessment is scheduled to be held?
This year we will test students from 15th of April to 30th of May.
Wow. And how many students are going to be tested?
More than 6,500.
Oh. Is this figure enough to have some first results about some vision of Ukrainian education?
Oh yes, surely. This is a totally representative sample of students. So the students from all over Ukraine take part, plus different types of educational institutions participate. Students from rural and city areas participate. So this is a totally representative sample.
Well, this looks like a great initiative, and thank you so much for your investment in Ukrainian education, and thank you so much for this interesting conversation.
Thank you very much. Have a nice day.
That was Tetiana Vakulenko, National Coordinator for PISA 2018 in Ukraine. Thank you for watching Head to Head. I'm Alice Gerjuk. Goodbye.